Let's go. Our student trustee, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
All standing, place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. President Joey Acuña Jr.,
Here.
Vice President Jocelyn Vargas, Clerk Silvia Paz,
Here.
Trinidad Arredondo, Adonis Galarza Toledo,
Here.
Valerie Garcia,
Present.
Jesus Gonzalez, here. Student Trustee Barbara Hernandez. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to have recognitions for our winter sports. Dr. Williams.
Good evening, Board President, Mr. Cunha, Vice President, Ms. Vargas, trustees, board trustees, Dr. Valentino, Superintendent, and Cabinet. Good evening. This is a great night. Love to celebrate our accomplishments for our sports teams. We did it in fall and in the winter, and we'll do the spring. So tonight we're recognizing all the great accomplishments for the winter sports. So first we're going to start off with the West Shores Wildcats and have Dr. DeFeo come up and introduce.
Good evening. I thank you for having us tonight. Our girls basketball team exceeded expectations this year. They went from last place team last year to being the number 4 ranked team in CIF. They had a record of 14 wins, 7 losses. They finished second in their league, losing by 1 point in the league championship. They qualified to CIF and made it all the way to the quarterfinals, which is the first time in our school's history. Not only did our girls exceed on the court, but they also got recognized by CIF San Diego as an all-academic team for their conference for the 4th time in a row. 2 of our girls were named first team all-conference. Naelia Costa, and with us tonight, Anastasia Garth. And Anastasia was the runner-up for Player of the Year. Good job. I'm going to have Anastasia introduce her teammates that made it tonight.
Hello, I'm Anastasia Garth, and here with my teammates. I'm here with Larissa Gonzalez and Abigail Maricela Torres.
Congratulations, Wildcats. Good job, good job. Next up, we have exciting accomplishments from La Familia High School. So here for the Lobos, we have the principal, Eric Mickelson. Give him a big round of applause.
Good evening, CVUSD Board and Executive Cabinet. It's my pleasure to be here tonight to share with you the news of the La Familia Los Lobos boys soccer team. Our boys soccer team won their league with 0 defeats, beating MSJ, Ed Wensloff, Summit, and Amistad. Outstanding, outstanding season. I need to give a shout out to their amazing coaches. Coaching the girls team, who also did very well, is Manuel Arriaga. And coaching the boys team is our rookie coach, Raul Hernandez. So who says a small cool school can't win sports, right? We did it. All right. So when I call you up, we will hand out your certificates. Okay, you want to help me, Mr. Arriaga? All right. Isaiah Fuentes. Alejandro Fernandez Cortez. Angel Gabriel Diaz Mendoza. Bruno Delgado Lopez. Julian Cruz. Okay. Daniel Gonzalez. Okay. We have Daniel Lucero Molina. Kovic Garcia Barrientos. Carlos Madera. Mario Murillo Garcia. Almost. Ismael Nunez Carnica. Angel Ortiz Moreno. Christopher Placencia. Julian Placencia. Aldo Segovia Ponce. Rafael Sorato. Emmanuel Torres with 1 M. And we also have an Emmanuel Torres with 2 M's. And last but certainly not least, Brian Vargas.
We just want to thank the board and facilities department and race management for allowing us to use the John Kelly football field, the soccer field, because that's what we play. Thank you.
I'll introduce you. Uh-huh. Nice job, guys. Nice job. Way to go. Way to go, man. Keep it up. Good work. All right, another big round of applause for those Lobos. Awesome accomplishment. Undefeated season. All right, next up, we have quite a few accomplishments from Coachella Valley. You know that little school that's over there, Coachella Valley, those Arabs. Great accomplishments this winter from Coachella Valley High School. Let me introduce Jason Castillo, our athletic director.
Hello, thank you. Thank you, board, for having us, and cabinet. Appreciate you guys again. Coachella Valley is back in the house. We want to introduce you to 3 of our great teams and also an individual who got an amazing scholarship from the BNP Parabol this past winter. First off, we are going to introduce you to our back-to-back champion boys soccer team, coached by Coach Barragan.
Thank you. First, Antonio Gonzalez, Jose Lopez, Diego Hernandez, Esteban Bernal, Alexei Quintana, Raymond Diaz, Luis Lopez, Benjamin Perez, Rigo Morales, Chris Mesa, Jesus Gasalum, Johan Cuevas, Alexis Flores, Antonio Valdez, Yandel Rodriguez, Max Zavala, Johan Arellano, Xavier Lopez, Christian Cardenas, and my assistant Joel Hernandez.
Please, want to take a picture with our boys, please? This boys team went to the quarterfinals of the boys soccer playoffs this year. Fell a couple games short, but they made a great run and also went undefeated in league. So that was a pretty good accomplishment. It's a good job. Next up, we have our boys basketball team. So our boys basketball team had a historic run this year. We hadn't been to the basketball playoffs in over 30 years at Coachella Valley High School, and we hadn't won a game in the playoffs in over 50 years. So this is a huge accomplishment. They went three games deep this past year, falling short in the quarterfinals. And they just did an amazing job. Coach has been working all hard since last season ended. So they put a whole year's work in. So just want to give the mic up to Coach Mike Rodriguez.
Well, thank you. Like Coach Castillo said, we had a historic season, and it's all due to these guys' hard work. So Frankie Aguirre, Israel Garcia, John Beltran, Luis Hernandez, Gabriel Lopez, Brian Olivo, Miguel Lopez, Joe Beltran, Ivan Baltazar, David Mata, Mark Gonzalez, and Sebastian Beltran.
Good job, boys. Go ahead and follow Miss Raquel. Our last team of the night, not our last athletes, but our last team of the night we want to recognize is our girls soccer team. They won 5 consecutive league titles, going undefeated all 5 of those years. So we're getting spoiled at Coachella Valley High School by the greatness of our girls soccer team. I would like to introduce our coach, Mr. Coach Francisco Morales.
Hello. Thank you very much for this recognition and for giving us the time today. Girls work really hard. They've always have, and I'm glad they get to have this moment with you guys today. So calling them up, first is sophomore Marisa Medrano. Freshman all-team, first team all-league, Mili Gamboa. Freshman Melody Rodriguez. Freshman Annabelle Bernal. Our senior goalkeeper Mia. MJ. Freshman Monica Montiveros. Our senior valedictorian Gemma Gonzalez. Our junior league MVP, offensive MVP, Leslie Delgado. First team all league, Danny Pineda, Ashley, I had to say all of them. Senior, right? Ashley Pelcastre. I wish I were younger. Daniela Sanchez, senior. Cassie, senior.
Second row.
It's okay from the distance. It's awesome.
Board members, you might want to stay down here. We got one. And last on the docket tonight for Coachella Valley High School, last but definitely not least, is our MVP of the league. She started out during the COVID season. That was her first season, so it was very difficult. And she pushed through. And this year she was got one of the 4 scholarships for the BNP Paribas, $20,000 scholarship. So congratulations to Neve Robles. So again, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time again to honor our student athletes for the winter season, and have a great rest of your night.
All right, moving on. Closed session public comments. I saw that we did have one. Closed session public comment announcement. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the governing board regarding any closed session items within the board's subject matter jurisdiction. Please complete a request to address the governing board form and hand it to the recording secretary. The online form submitted electronically will be read. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person with a maximum of 20 minutes to each subject matter. Do we have any written?
Yes, sir, there was one written.
Okay, go ahead and read it.
Sarita Hernandez, subject, CV High School 2024 accurate senior rankings. Good evening, board members and CVUSD staff. I would like to inform you all of a situation that is occurring at CV High School that also occurred last year at Desert Mirage High School. My daughter has been at the top of her class for the past 3 school years at CV High School. And to our surprise this year, she was not part of the top 10 group of seniors. My daughter has maintained a 4.0 or over for the past 7 semesters. We have followed her ranking that was provided on her report cards. For example, she was 1 out of 575 and then 2 out of 573. My daughter was excluded from this top 10 group because she has an unscheduled period. When she completed the senior request for a minimum day form, she was never informed that this is something that could affect her opportunity to participate in certain activities. This information is not noted on the form that was signed by the student, parent, and school administrator. CV High School form does state inaccurate Ed Code information that per Ed Code 46145, the pupils in grades 12 grade shall be enrolled in at least 6 courses each semester per semester during the student enrollment in high school. However, Ed Code 46145, any pupil in grade 12 shall be enrolled in at least 5 courses each semester per semester during the student enrollment in high school. If this was something that was a major factor and could affect her, I would have hoped that the counselor or the administrator would have warned us against it. I too signed this form, and nowhere on there does it state she will be excluded from activities because of the unscheduled period. District Policy 5121 adopted 1/23/2020 grade point average section states, the superintendent or designee shall calculate students' GPA using the grade point assigned to each letter grade in accordance with the scale described in the section Grades for Academic Performance above. The grade points for all applicable coursework shall be totaled and divided by the number of courses completed. Pass-fail grades shall not be included in the determination of the student's GPA. This policy clearly states that the GPA is to be calculated by dividing the course completed. It does not state 7 periods or how many. It states courses completed, and my daughter's courses completed are 6. Therefore, her GPA should be determined by dividing her 6 periods. My daughter and I met with a team of school and district administrators, and the solution was for my daughter to share salutatorian with another student. This was not an acceptable offer. I have another paragraph. Do you want me to continue? The 3 minutes are up. Continue? Okay. This was not an acceptable offer, considering the school did inform us that my daughter held the number 2 ranking. These reports were supposedly run 2 times and were gone through by staff to ensure their accuracy. It was mentioned, however, during our meetings that the IT department did have that report, and it showed that my daughter was ranked number 2 with a 4.475 GPA. The student who is currently listed as a second rank on the original list, the student themselves commented out loud to other students in class describing how their GPA score received was that of 4.433. The student's GPA is less than my daughter's. How is it that the administration team offered my daughter to share the same rank if the GPAs are not the same? I hope we can come to an agreement soon, considering my daughter has already missed out on some activities to celebrate her ranking of number 2. In the future, I ask that the district be transparent and let others know who the top 10 are so they can be celebrated. I have seen neighboring districts putting it out there, showing their pride for how well their students are doing. Is this not something CVUSD could consider? That was all. No more written, no.
We have one in person, Carissa Carrera, CVTA.
Okay, good evening, board trustees and cabinet. I am here on behalf of CVTA to speak about the upheaval and chaos that we employees must continuously endure in CVUSD. Due to decisions made by you, the elected school board trustees, each year there is significant turnover in teachers and administration while we struggle to recruit new teachers and administrators. To be frank, the turnover is due to only a few of you on the board, not all. CVTA believes the regular turnover can be attributed to the personal hiring and firing preferences of certain board trustees rather than the performance of the administrators. We are experiencing this upheaval once again. We are about to be without a superintendent due to his decision to retire, which is very atypical compared to the reasons we've lost multiple previous superintendents. Also, you have recently approved RIFs for 71 teachers, but actually have RIFed 120. We've been without an assistant superintendent of HR for months. We have a relatively new assistant superintendent of ed services making major decisions without taking the time to fully understand the community, the staff, or the work of this district, including reassigning site administrators and providing notice to several administrators within her department. All decisions based on reasons unknown and not communicated to the community which you serve. The rumors are out there, though. We've all heard them, and they are typical for what we continuously experience. Certain administrators not liked by certain board members for whatever reason, and suddenly they are gone. No explanation to the community, swept under the rug. CVTA is challenging our board trustees to exhibit transparency and integrity, and we look forward to seeing which of you are up to that challenge. We will no longer keep quiet about issues which directly affect the quality of instruction provided to our students and affecting our working conditions. I must ask, do you consider these impacts when you make these decisions and what impact they have in our schools, our classrooms, and amongst the employees? Do you simply not care? Are your personal agendas simply more important than the students for whom you are responsible? It should be obvious that any change disrupts the educational process. New administrators come in and make changes to programs, policies, expectations, causing us to stop and learn something different. We can never become experts at anything because we are constantly forced to change directions. I could go on about this, but I suspect this is falling on deaf ears. When you talk about our test scores and why our students aren't progressing, know that I have provided you the answer tonight. For those of you trustees who value transparency and integrity, we thank you, and we hope you will enlighten your constituents when significant changes take place within our district. For the others, we look forward to November.
Okay, can I get a motion to go into closed session? A motion by Board Member Gonzalez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A second by Vice President Vargas. All those in favor?
Aye.
Student trustee?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We will be back at 7:30.
World Down Syndrome Awareness.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting back into order. There was a motion and a second to return into open session. Motion carried 6-0 at the time. Hold on. Let me catch where I'm at here. Announce items taken in, announce action taken in closed session.
Yes. The board took the following action in closed session: approved expulsion case number 23/24-010 for stipulated expulsion. Motion was made by trustee Gonzalez, seconded by trustee Galarza. Motion carried 6-0. The second item, board took the following action in closed session: approved expulsion case number 23/24-011 for stipulated expulsion. Motion was made by trustee Gonzalez, seconded by trustee Galarza, and motion carried 6-0. That's it.
We are going to pull item 11.1 from the agenda. There's some typos or some mistakes in there that they need to correct. So can I have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted with that item being pulled?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez, a second by Mr. Galarza. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Student trustee? Aye. Thank you. For if you're looking for it, it's simply the board minutes that were submitted from one of the previous ones. There was some mistakes in there they want to fix. All right, moving on. We are item 5.1, board notification, request to address the board. Let me grab my little thing here. Open session, public comment announcement. Introductory comments and requests to address the board on items on the adopted agenda and items not on the adopted agenda will be considered from the audience at this time. Please complete a request to address the governing board form and hand it to the recording secretary. The online form submitted electronically will be read. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person, and speakers are not able to concede their time to other speakers. The maximum time for each subject matter is 20 minutes. Additionally, the person making the request should state his or her name and the name of the organization or group represented. Please be advised that the board is not always at liberty to answer questions right away. State law prohibits the board from taking any action on items not listed on the agenda. Do we have any written communication?
Yes, sir, we have one written.
Okay,
Ready?
go ahead.
A concerned parent and teacher regarding dual language. Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to read my comment. I come here today because I would like to share a couple of things regarding our dual language program. As a parent and teacher within our school district, we have recently started noticing that a lot of students have been entering the dual language program late. We have shared some of these concerns before, but it seems that no one has taken the time to listen to our concerns. I want to emphasize the importance of starting a dual language program early in the lower grades, as the early grades are where most of the foundational skills are taught in the Spanish and English language. When a student enters late into a dual language program, students have missed most of the foundational skills, usually in the Spanish language. To have a successful dual language program, limiting late entrance to the program is crucial in order to ensure academic success to our students. When students enter late in the upper grades, they have not only missed the foundational skills, but they will be trying to catch up to their peers in 2 languages. In any other school district, including ours, students entering late to a dual language program are asked to take a screening test to find the best placement for them. I state including ours because we also ask late entering students to take a placement test by our assessment team, which is non-existent. This information comes directly from our CVUSD website. Our dual language teachers have also noticed that most newcomers and their parents are being deceived and not being fully informed that we as a school district offer both a dual language and SEI program. Assuming that the best placement for them is a dual language program because they come from a Spanish-speaking country is not only racist, but is also setting up a student to struggle within a dual language program when entering late. We understand that some SEI classes are full, but if it's a case about numbers, we need to hire more teachers instead of letting them go. As a board who has more training than some of our dual language teachers in CABE, you should understand our concerns. Thank you for your time. That's the only one.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Veronica Dueñas, CSCA.
Thank you. Good evening, board members, President Joya Cunha, Superintendent Dr. Valentino, and extended cabinet. I would like to thank this evening Dr. Francis Esparza. Why? Because we had an awesome LCAP meeting yesterday. This was, the way it was conducted and presented, the turnout was amazing. We had parents representing different areas of the district, students and staff present. If you all know, especially the board members that have been part of the previous LCAP meetings, you would understand what I'm talking about. I will say this, if any of you were present, I'm sorry, I didn't say that wrong, but what I'm trying to say is, I need you guys to be present at the LCAP because the way it was done yesterday, we have never had one before that like that. What was presented yesterday was the 3 tiers and the budget and where we stand currently. Also, what it showed was a survey that was put out to students, staff, certificated and classified, parents. That data was awesome. I have never seen something like that before. It's the first time in a long time I have been part of the LCAP process where it shows the leadership and where we're moving forward with the LCAP. I want to thank her again because it was put together and it was understood. Parents were so involved. We had babysitting, we had students there. So I really need to strive. I've been an advocate of this LCAP. It shows what we're doing and it shows the change. I also want to thank who she collaborated with, because she even let that be known, the business department, HR, and her own management team, which was Ed Services. So please, moving forward, board members, whoever's part of the LCAP, please be present, because you're going to see the difference, and we need to keep this ship moving forward, especially in the LCAP. Also, I want to say thank you for Tier 4. Look at the data on that. Tier 4 is professional development. Never drop this tier. Let's move forward with it, because you're going to see the data on what our own staff is stating. Thank you, Dr. Esparza. Good night.
Thank you. Next up, and apologies if I mispronounced the last name, David Tichman? Sorry, apologize.
Not a problem at all. David Sickman. Thank you, board. My name is David Sickman, and I'm from the Coachella Valley Jewish community. I work with a lot of Jewish organizations across the desert. I thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I recently learned that the Coachella Valley Unified School District is offering an ethnic studies course, which I think is a wonderful thing. However, with reference to material that many in the Jewish community feel is inappropriate and hateful towards the Jewish community. The reference material brings as a resource file a link to a website that is run by an organization that is well known to be discriminatory, anti-Semitic, and anti-Israel. This organization's director said he was happy to see the breakout on October 7th when there was an attack in Israel. He was excited to see the breakout on October 7th, the day the Hamas terrorists attacked Israel. Hamas attacked Israel on Simchat Torah, which is a Jewish holiday, and brutally attacked and killed over 1,200 civilians, men, women, children, and elderly, and took over 240 hostages. The White House condemned those statements by the organization's director as being anti-Semitic statements in the strongest terms, and quote the White House spokesman, "Every leader has a responsibility to call out anti-Semitism wherever it rears its ugly head." So today, I'm asking you to take a stand and remove this reference link that is inappropriate and hateful towards the Jewish community. Your curriculum highlights this organization for their opinion on the Jewish homeland of Israel, which the White House, as well as the overwhelming majority of the Coachella Valley Jewish community, view as anti-Semitic. And it's appropriate that today is actually a Jewish fast day, the fast of Esther. I've fasted today. I just broke my fast a few minutes ago. But the holiday, the story is over 2,400 years ago in ancient Persia, there was a king Ahasuerus, and there was a man named Haman who wanted to destroy the Jews back then after they were expelled from Israel. And Queen Esther, Jewish queen who was married to the king at the time, prayed and appealed to the king to spare the Jews from that genocide. So today, in the face of the tsunami of unprecedented anti-Semitism around the world, it's our duty to stand together and speak out against anti-Semitism and hate in all its ugly forms. And at the same time, we also pray for the 134 hostages still held. I appreciate your time, and I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one more, Mandy Cardenas.
Hi, so I'm here because I have a lot of concerns with what's going on in my children's school. It's gotten so bad to where I'm honestly in tears some days, like seeing that this is how, I'm sending my kids to school and, not feeling comfortable with where they're at and the way the school system is. And I'm pretty disappointed in the board because you guys are trying to take teachers that belong in the classrooms, teachers that the kids are thriving with. Like, I've seen it firsthand, that there are quality teachers and they're being told that their jobs may not be there next year and they're being put elsewhere and they belong in the classrooms. Like, I've seen, teachers with great test scores and I'm over here, my opinion is like, this is where I want my kid to be next year. And then there are those who kind of have taken time from my kids, not giving them any challenges, any growth. In fact, I felt like, my child personally, his whole first grade was basically wasted. There was nothing that they offered him. And he was just said, well, we don't need to meet. He's doing great. He's doing great. And I'm over here like, how is it you guys don't have anything to say as far as, I think he should go here and do this or skip a grade, and expressing my concerns isn't really doing anything. But, hearing like devastating news that these quality teachers won't be in the classroom anymore makes me feel even worse because, like you see the teachers that are not putting their time and effort into the kids and they're going to stay in the classroom because of seniority, which doesn't make sense because what, makes sense to me is that the teachers who have like great success scores with the kids and the kids are thriving, like those are the ones who need to be in the classroom. And, just seeing the lack of attention that the kids are getting, seeing their school lunches, they're getting milk that's a day before expired. And it's like, how does that happen? I grew up, I'm only 24. I grew up in a school where, so many things didn't fly by like this. And I'm like, what changed? Like, I'm not that, old. I was just in a classroom not that long ago. And it doesn't feel like I'm sending my kids to the same community and same, area that I grew up in. Like, it's a constant, like, thought to myself, like, what do we need to do better? And it's pretty devastating at this point because you feel like your kids are being robbed of a lot and, there's not much you can do about it because, decisions are made without parents being able to, take a vote or say anything. I think we should be able to say who gets to be in the classroom with our kids because they're like a second parent. This is like a second home. And what's important to me is who is, their second, home gonna be with, and do they care to see the kids grow and what their development is gonna look like? Because I have a child who thrives and I also have a child who struggles and needs the extra attention. So this is important to me to know who's gonna be in the classroom with my children.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, or no other comments, we'll go ahead and move on. Oh, I'm sorry. The question was, what site is your school, or your children at? They're at Valley View Elementary School. Okay, thank you. Okay, next up, written communications. Dr. Valentin, have any? No written communications. Student trustee, we'll brag about her a little bit later, but I told her we'd embarrass her a little bit, but tonight, but go ahead.
Hello, good evening. I would like to start off by congratulating all of the athletes that we had today. It makes me really happy to see all the people that get posted on Instagram by all my friends that are like, even if we don't go to the same school, it's really nice to see them being rewarded here at the board. Then for CV, starting off, they had their prom fashion show on March 13, and their student ambassadors have been following up with the issue or the case that they brought to board like a couple board meetings ago. I actually got to be here to hear some of the feedback that they had, and the student ambassadors that Lynn is part of have been working on the restocking of menstrual products with administration, so they've been like really active with that. So that's the follow-up on that. Lynette wanted me to let you guys know that she was really happy that she got to attend the Student of the Month ceremony, that she really enjoyed hearing from everyone else. West Shores had a win 3-1 on March 19 with their boys volleyball team against Holtville, and they're very prideful of it. They also want to invite you all to their spring fling, which is on March 22nd, which is tomorrow, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. They invite the community to come eat food, play games, and admire a vehicle display from TWS and a Powder Puff game that they're hosting. Their minor program visited the UC San Diego campus and had a comfort stop at Mission Beach. I do not have any updates on LAFA. As for DM, our counseling has been working a lot with completing FAFSA and COD applications. This has also been happening in the other campuses, but as for DM, I can't find the word, but we're really prideful that we get to use our career college center for something, because we used to only have the counseling area for this like kind of activity, but we finally get to have the career center where we get to have even more students in there. Personally, for my AVID program, we do get pulled out during like our second period, and they try to see what periods are best suitable for our students. And they've also been having workshops after school. For the past weekends, we had one tonight, and there's another one on Saturday. There's been ranging between 30 to 31 families every session. We're really excited that we're starting to offer a driver's ed opportunity for students. They just have to pay a $25 amount to our ASB, and there's like stats that it's more likely that they will pass their test for their permit the first time. It's also approved by the DMVs across California. And we're still working on the 20th anniversary planning. Please don't forget that the date is April 24th. As for our programs, our AVID program had a Dow Scholarship recipient, which his name is Eduardo Chavez. Our ninth graders finally got to go to their CSUSB and Cal Poly Pomona trip that got canceled a couple days ago, I think about a week or two ago. I also got to attend the Student of the Month recipients ceremony with Lynette. As for our Puente program, we had 4 teachers and their counselor attend the Puente Springs Components Conference of 2024, and they're working on a collaboration with CV's Puente program as well, to have a trip to UC San Diego and the Chicano Park to have links and collaboration with both sites. Our aviation has 10 students that are starting job shadowing at the Desert Jet Airport, and our Green Academy wants to congratulate Mr. Krebs for being awarded the CVUSD Teacher of the Year. And then we had something very beautiful happen today. Our students with learning differences had their prom today, and our cosmetology students helped style them. Like, they did their makeup, they did their hair, and that was really nice. There was a lot of happy people. And that's about all I have today.
All right, thank you. You didn't not only attend the Student of the Month, but you were actually one of the Students of the Month. So I'll embarrass you later a little bit right now. We'll go to member reports. Board Member Galarza.
Not much to report. I think the only thing that kind of intrigued me is I'd like to learn more about the driver's ed program that they have, and if I hear correctly, they're charging to take the class. So I'm more interested in Oh, the fee to, so they're charging for the test? Or is it the pink slip that they're charging for? Oh, it's a DMV fee, okay.
And there's like a percentage that goes into our aids fee, like our general aids fee.
Okay, well, that's something that I'd be more interested in learning about. Thank you all.
Yep, you good? Board Member Garcia.
I want to again thank all of our students and the coaches that we had here. That was so many students. It was beautiful to see our students who are so connected to their learning community, the coaches who make that magic happen with them and have all that time with them. So it's very special, and I'm so glad that we have that time every time. It's a lot of pictures, but it's so worth it for our students. As far as the disruption with our faculty, I'm really just again hoping that anyone who was given a RIF notice, please trust the process, follow it, see it through. There should be space for many of you. Please, we want you in our schools. We want your impact is valued. As you could hear earlier today, we want our teachers in the classroom. We want our admin wherever we need them to be. So please trust the process. I can only imagine how nerve-wracking it is to have to wait until May 15th, but please, we want you here. As far as the rest, we have spring break coming up, and I'm really hoping that all of our staff has the time to rest. It's needed, and the rest of us will just have to deal with our little ones for the week and a day. But yeah, just please take the time to rest. You deserve it. We're getting closer to the end of the year, which is exciting for all of our students who are hearing the good news for their futures. But please just take the time and trust the process. Thank you.
Board Member Gonzalez.
The only thing I wanted to share, I had the opportunity, I think it was last Friday, to join Toro Canyon Middle School for their career day. I was very nervous. I really rarely work with anyone younger than, a ninth grader. And so they definitely kept me on my toes, and it was really early. But they had some really great questions. So it was really nice to kind of be in the classroom and kind of see, what teachers, they were adorable, right? So, being able to work with the students. I did get some homework. I told them about what I do as a board member as well as my day job. They did, raise some concerns about the fact that our calendar only gave them 2 weeks vacation in the winter. So I told them I would bring that back to you all. And I did get some homework to look for an internship with a veterinarian. Someone was interested to become a veterinarian. So I have to follow up on that and probably follow up with you. I get that, but yeah, it was fun. Thank you to the counselors who offered and invited me over. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. First of all, I want to congratulate all the athletes that were here today that were recognized. Some of them actually doing some historic things with their programs. I do want to do a special shout out to West Shores. That group that came today 4 years in a row, not only being athletes, but the academic part of that. I think that's very impressive for them. And I know sometimes they're a smaller school. Sometimes I know our own local media doesn't really recognize them, but I think that's something that obviously the athletic achievement they did, but also the academic one. Again, this is multiple students, multiple grades. This is not the same group but they, so that is very impressive. So I wanted to give out a special shout out to them. And then also to our tennis player who received the award. That is awesome. And I know the group from the tennis really took a liking to our district and our kids, and really has decided that they want to focus on our kids because they like our district. So I want to thank them as well for providing the opportunity for our kids to even apply for that and have the opportunity. And again, some of the things may not matter to people in other districts, but a $20,000 scholarship really matters for kids in our district. So I want to thank them for that. Also, I just wanted to say that I did attend the County Student of the Month Awards earlier this week, and again, you weren't just attended, you were actually a recipient of the Student of the Month. Congratulations. We also found out that this is our valedictorian as well, so congratulations to that. Again, I think we're having a kind of a record here. Last year's was as well, and now we have one this year, so we got to kind of, when you tell the next person who's going to come up, tell them that's kind of the tradition. You gotta step up. So, but again, thank you. I think all this year's student trustees have been incredible. Again, last year's, it was the first time we did it, halfway through the year. I think she did a great job, but this year I think you were all prepared. You knew exactly what we were expected of you, and you guys have really stood out. All of you have really stood out and actually helped us when we asked you to engage in conversation. We didn't mean it. We actually meant it when we said we want you to engage, because we do want your opinions for a lot of things that we don't maybe see it from that point of view. So you were the first one here, so I get to embarrass you first, but thank you very much. You've done a great job, and congratulations on all your other awards as well. Thank you. That's all. Dr. Valentino?
Thank you, Mr. Acuña. So to round out what you said, Mr. Acuña, the other recipients were Jesus Inés Arellano from CV High School, David Mendiola from our CV Independent Studies program, Nick Acevedo from La Familia High School, who I believe is also one of the athletes that was here this evening. The soccer player, yes. And David Lopez from West Shores High School, who I also believe was here with the group. So not only are they academically really high performing, but they're also athletic and very involved in their school. So congratulations to all of them. Today is World Down Syndrome Day. And so the ribbons representing that is this blue and gold ribbon. It represents our commitment to support students with Down syndrome, other students with learning differences. And these ribbons were actually made by one of our classified staff members. And she has a child who has Down syndrome. And so it's a way of creating awareness to help districts and organizations think about how people with intellectual differences are included in the work that we do. So thank you so much to our staff member who brought this to our attention. The Coachella Valley recently launched the Coachella Valley chapter of the California Association of Latino Superintendents and Administrators. And the first mixer was last week. It was a membership drive. And there were administrators representing all 3 districts, including some of our administrators in the back. And thank you for attending. We also had some elected officials who attended to support us. In fact, Mr. Galarza, your brother, was there. So thank them for being there. So that was pretty awesome. The commitment of CALSA as a state organization and as part of the national organization, ALAS, is to develop leaders with the passion and commitment to ensure that our Latino students, as well as all students, have equitable access to comprehensive learning opportunities. And this is a great opportunity to bring all 3 districts together with that mission in mind, to ensure that all of the students in our Coachella Valley receive that access to comprehensive learning opportunities. So that's all I have.
President Acuña, if I may, I did want to special shout out to, I attended the BMP scholarship, and it was amazing the way they set it up at CV. They had a band, the band was out, and you walked in, and it was just really cool. And to see the students, as you said, $20,000 for 4 students is a pretty serious commitment to our community. I had a chance to meet the gentleman from BMP, the representative. He basically said that he came here and he fell in love with the community, and he was welcomed. And because of that, they're continuing to grow the program. And I just a special shout out to Mr. Salas, who continues to work with the kids and the tennis program. The young lady that was with us today, that is his granddaughter. I was pleased to learn that. When I actually knew her and met her, I never put her back to Mr. Salas, but a real example of what's possible. and his continued support for the tennis program. And the development of this scholarship really is all him. The relationship that we built with BMP is with former council member Larry Salas. He is the point of communication with the BMP, and the experience. I actually attended the tournament. I turned around and somebody that was sitting in the box were the scholarship kids. They were up in these special boxes, and they're on the court. They're having these experiences, and I just had to remind myself that I had to say something about recognizing Mr. Salas and obviously the BMP and the commitment they've made to our community. It makes a big difference.
All right, thank you. All right, let's get going here. Okay. Item 7, action, educational services. 7.1, Dr. Gutierrez requesting approval of overnight trip for 8 migrant students and 2 chaperones to attend West Coast Science STEM program in San Francisco, California, June 22nd through the 26th. I have a motion.
Second.
And I have a second. Motion by Board Member Gonzalez, second by Board Member Galarza. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Student trustee? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. We're 5 now, right? 5-0, sorry. Item 8.1, action business services. Mr. Everson, authorization to increase open purchase order for SC Fuels for the fiscal year 2023 through 2024.
Motion?
I have a motion.
Second.
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 Motion by Mr. Gonzalez, second by Mr. Galarza. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Student trustee? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.2, Mr. Everson, approval to amend previous authorization to purchase 1 Transit Connect van for the Transportation Department.
So move.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any questions on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Student trustee? Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. Again, Mr. Everson, approval of resolution 2024-20 to apply for the Environmental Protection Agency's grant number EPA OAR OTAQ 23-06 for 15 electric buses.
I motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Obviously, we're making an application. If we're successful, we would see these buses in the next couple of years. Is there a calendar on that, Mr. Cunha?
I believe.
So if, yes, so hopefully we would be receiving them within the fiscal year. And they come with the infrastructure for electricity. So,
wow.
Yeah, we applied to this last year, so we're reapplying. Hopefully we'll get it this year.
Nice. So my motion stands, Mr. Cunha.
Okay, any other questions?
Where would they stay? Would they be towards the campus or something?
I'm sorry?
Where would these stay?
The buses.
Oh, in the bus yard probably, right?
Like the buses, where would they stay? Would they,
yeah,
would
they'll
it
go
still
in the
stay
bus
in the deal? Or would they stay on the campuses?
No, they'll be in the bus barn.
Okay.
You don't get to keep them.
You can take one home. You can take one home.
Yeah, no, they would be in
Yeah,
the bus
Barbara, you
barn,
can take them
as
home.
all our buses are. And I believe this just also, not to hear, but I believe this is is this a trade one too? We trade the old ones in, our old,
Super cool.
dirty fuel ones, so to speak, for the new clean electric buses. So so now we get more buses, we're trading them out for our old ones and the ones that we need to get rid of and get the new clean energy ones. All right, seeing no more questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Student trustee?
Aye.
Motion carries. 8.4, Mr. Bockham, consideration for adoption of resolution number 2024-24, approving the addendum to the mitigated negative declaration North Shore School Project.
I motion to accept staff's recommendation. I do want to thank Mayela for bringing me up to speed. It seems to be an oversight in our agreement, and it's simply adding some language not affecting the terms of the agreement for North Shore, and actually would help us not slow it down. And so excited to motion approve staff's recommendation on this matter. Thank you, Mayela.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
So just a question then, so it's language, the cost doesn't change, it's just what we needed?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's their language. We're including their language in our agreement, some language that they needed to properly have an agreement with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Student trustee? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, action item number 9.1, Ms. McLeod, approval of standard agreement with Department of General Services, Office of Administrative Hearings.
Motion to approve staff's
Motion.
recommendation?
Do I hear a second?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, sorry. I have a motion and a second by Board Member Garcia. Any questions on this? We're all good? All those in favor?
Aye.
Student trustee?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item, okay, we're getting there. Come on. All right, consent calendar, item 10. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be routine and will be acted upon in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the board considers the motion unless members of the board or staff request specific items to be discussed and/or removed from the consent calendar, in which event the items will be considered separately. The superintendent, assistant superintendent of Ed Services, assistant superintendent of Business and Finance, and assistant superintendent of Human Resources recommend the approval of all consent calendar items. Just remember, we pulled item 11.1, so that will not be included. Do I hear a motion?
I motion to approve the consent calendar respecting any board member wanting to pull an item.
I want to pull an item.
Can I get a second first? Real quick.
Second.
Second, thank you.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, so I'd like to pull 12.4 to discuss.
12.4.
4.
Okay. Any other ones? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Student trustee?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 2.4?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in looking at the breakdown, I'm trying to understand where the 5 million comes from. So the first part, in blue, it looks like those are requests that were submitted in this school year, for this school year, or for next school year?
This is for next school year. These are the renewals. So we put everything up front on what we're gonna renew, like consumables and things of that nature. That's what this is. And then we gave a short, brief outlook of where we want to go for 24-25 school year.
Right, because the resolution, the way it reads, it's so we're doing this ahead of time so that we have time to process.
Yes,
Right?
and to order.
process it. And I understand that. But when I read it and I calculate all of the figures, I see that some of them say separate board agenda items, and I understand that. So when I pull those out, it's still 3.4 million, not 5 million. When I keep those in, it's 6.2 million. So I'm just confused about where the 5 million comes in when.
So it's the additional piece for 24-25 that has been added.
At the very end, that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Because that comes out to 1.6 million.
It's 1.6. And then you
Yes,
have
with all
the-
of those.
And then you have the 3.671.
Right.
And that's.
So the blue on top is not
Yes.
something to be.
No, it's just what is ordered. It's just what is ordered for consumables to make sure that we have like an open item so that we're able to order what we need to order for next year. We're supposed to order at least by April 15th. And so these are some of the items from 23-24. And then we're giving the item in the back for 24-25.
Okay, So I understand the resolution and I get why we want to be on top of it. That makes sense. I'm totally on board with that. But in reading it, again, I tried to figure out these figures myself. As a parent, as a community member, I want this to be as clear as possible. So if we can just clean it up a little bit so that those figures, because not even all of them have totals, right? That last one, I did it myself, all this stuff. So we could just clean it up a little bit. I understand why we want to do it.
We can bring it back.
I have a concern with the concern. If you're finished, whenever you're finished.
I'm finished.
Okay. President Acuna, these are standard practice items that need to be purchased based on historical experiences. We have benchmarks to make sure that we have budgets so that we can do this. To get to the nickel or the penny or even to the thousands of dollars, right, or to $1,000, it almost is ludicrous, right? Because we basically know what we buy. We have a general idea of what we're going to buy. Staff needs to be able to pivot and say, hey, we might have some of that, so we need to buy more of this, right? And so I don't believe to get into this thing and to get into the exact dollar amount, I don't think that's the intent. I think staff is trying to stay prepared and make sure that we have stuff ordered for next year on time, stuff that we buy every year. And with that, I'll motion to accept staff's recommendation.
And although I hear that, we're not talking a dollar, a cent, we're talking millions of dollars. So for me, I would like
It's
it
not
to be
millions of dollars.
clear,
You're reading the document wrong.
which is a problem in and of itself if it's not clear enough.
No, I believe you're reading the document wrong.
Well, we're not going to go very far on this, and I would like to get out early today. So if you require different information for when they bring it, I would ask that staff provide that information. Again, I don't want to delay it anymore because obviously then we get behind. Requisitions get closed at a certain point, then we can't order for a while because they're doing that. This is the problem. I would though request, if this is the practice, and I did this to Board Member Arredondo as well, if this is the practice, I would like the practice to be applied to everyone across the district fairly. Transportation, food services, sites, everybody gets treated the same. And again, that's how you'd like the information, fine with me, but I do believe that I'd like to see that information across the board, because then I can go back and pull out a bunch of stuff just today. But again, I understand if that's how you'd like your information, you're a board member, you're entitled to have it the way you want to. I would just ask that staff do that across the board. Directors as well understand that all that needs to go across the board.
Can I make a comment?
Okay.
So it's 5 million, and if you look at the blue, there's 964,000, and then at the bottom, there's another total of 3.6 million.
The issue, Dr.
And then there's
Esparza,
2
is
million.
not the amount, it's that it doesn't read well and it's confusing. As I understand it, you're telling me it's confusing. And if a parent wanted to read it, they wouldn't understand it. So that's your concern, right? So it's not actually the dollar amounts don't add up or where they're at. It's just you don't find it clear enough. And again, that's perfectly fine. If you like it to be better, we can ask staff to direct them to make it more clear so that if a parent walked in and saw it, that they would understand it.
Right, and myself even being a
yeah,
parent
I
didn't
know,
understand
But your
it.
example was a parent, right? So that's why.
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
So again, so when I tried to get to that $5 million, I wasn't able to, doing different ways. So that's where my transparency with a resolution that says a specific amount.
No, I'm fine with that, as long as it's across the board. We have a motion to accept. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Oh, I'm sorry, student trustee? Aye. Motion carries 4-1. I believe that is it. We have nothing else. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We're out at 8:51. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.